The recent US-Canada trade conflict began with a bold move. The United States imposed steep tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. This wasn't just a policy tweak, it threatened decades of close economic partnership. The tariffs, 25% on steel, 10% on aluminum, were justified by Washington as protecting American industry. But for Canada, it felt like a betrayal, straining the world's longest undefended border and a deeply intertwined economy. Canadian leaders were stunned, arguing their metals were essential to US manufacturing, not a threat. Businesses on both sides faced sudden uncertainty, forced to rethink operations overnight. The US prioritized domestic producers, while Canada faced a tough choice: absorb the blow or retaliate. Any response risked further escalation and consequences for both nations' consumers and industries. This single act set the stage for a tense, unpredictable chapter in US-Canada relations. The tariffs drew a line in the sand, testing the limits of a historic alliance. The world watched as a family feud erupted on the global stage. The question now: how would Canada respond? The US used Section 232 of a 1962 trade law, claiming national security justified the tariffs. The logic: a strong domestic metals industry is vital for defense. But applying this to Canada, a close military ally, sparked skepticism. Critics saw the move as economic protectionism, not genuine security. In the US, steel-producing regions cheered, but manufacturers reliant on imported metals warned of higher costs. In Canada, political leaders united in condemning the tariffs as unfair and aggressive. American steelmakers benefited, but automakers and construction firms faced soaring costs. Companies had to choose absorb losses or pass costs to consumers. The policy designed to help one sector ended up hurting many others. The interconnected economy revealed the true cost of protectionism. Canada hit back with its own tariffs, targeting US goods from steel to ketchup and whiskey. The aim: pressure key US political districts and show Canada wouldn't back down. This tit-for-tat raised prices for Canadians too, but was framed as defending national interests. Prime Minister Trudeau called for unity, explaining the need to stand firm against unfair trade. Canada also rolled out aid for its steel and aluminum sectors, helping workers and companies weather the storm. The response balanced strength abroad with support at home. Even a smaller economy can make its voice heard in a dispute with a superpower. Canada's approach managed the crisis on both diplomatic and domestic fronts. It was a lesson in resilience and strategic response. The trade war's impact was immediate and widespread. Steel and aluminum prices jumped, squeezing manufacturers and automakers. Car production costs rose by hundreds of dollars per vehicle, forcing tough choices for automakers and buyers. Beverage companies faced higher aluminum costs, leading to pricier cans of soda and beer. Small businesses struggled most, with higher material costs threatening jobs and growth. Consumers felt the pinch as prices crept up on cars, appliances, and even groceries. Canada's retaliatory tariffs meant higher prices for American goods in Canadian stores. What began as a dispute over metals rippled through the entire economy. Everyday families paid the price for decisions made far above their heads. The trade war's true cost was felt at the checkout counter. Amid the conflict, Canada seized a new narrative: green steel and aluminum. Canadian producers highlighted their use of clean energy, resulting in lower carbon emissions. This green steel branding appealed to global demand for sustainable products. Canada invested in cleaner technologies, aiming to lead in low-carbon manufacturing. The strategy shifted the debate from protectionism to environmental responsibility. Canada argued that trade rules should consider the carbon footprint of goods. This resonated with countries pursuing climate goals, positioning Canada as a progressive voice. The green pivot turned a defensive trade battle into an offensive play for the future. Canada sought new alliances based on shared environmental values. The trade dispute became a platform for sustainable industry leadership. The tariff standoff tested the strength of North America's economic ties. Integrated supply chains built under NAFTA were suddenly at risk. The dispute signaled to the world that even close allies could turn protectionist. Global trading partners grew wary, rethinking their own dependencies. Companies began seeking more resilient local supply chains. For North America, the crisis was both a warning and an opportunity. A renewed commitment to cooperation could make the region stronger and more competitive. The choices made now will shape the continent's economic future. Will North America emerge united or divided by rivalry and higher costs? The answer remains unwritten.